In most forms of art, the finished piece is that of the artist's doing. It comes from his or her head and hopefully is an expression of what's in their heart. Let's say, for instance, I have this modeling clay and I want to mold it into some sort of a shape. For me, that's this ball because, well, I'm not much of a sculptor. But this ball is my work. Good or bad, I am responsible. I also made this dog. But there's one form of art that's different from all the others, and that's filmmaking. Many people have input on the final product, some more concerned with making cash than artistic expression. Now, the director is considered the true creative force behind a film, but with millions of dollars on the line, the money people have occasionally changed the artist's work in the hopes of bigger box office receipts. Often the director is not pleased, in fact he's pissed, so much so that the director doesn't want his or her name associated with the film. They don't care what name is in the credits as long as it's not theirs. Well, hello there, Old Man Kelly here, Jeff to my friends, and you can call me Jeff. So like I was saying, in most forms of art, the artist is the one and only creative force behind a piece. Like when a painting's finished, good or bad, the painter takes full credit for the painting. In the movie world, in theory, the director is considered the true creative force. That's why you see his name last in the opening credits of a film. The Directors Guild of America, or DGA, takes this idea very seriously. They want to make sure the one who directs gets the proper credit, and therefore they require the director's professional name to be used in the credits. Even if that person doesn't want their name to be used, he or she has no choice. That was before 1969. You see, in 1969, something happened that caused the DGA to consider an exception, in rare cases, to that rule. It all began with a film called Death of a Gunfighter. Made in 1969, Robert Townsend was directing the film with Richard Widmark starring. After 25 days of filming, issues between Widmark and Townsend caused Widmark to insist the director be fired. He was replaced by Don Siegel, who shot for 9 or 10 days. In the final cut, each director had about an equal amount of footage in the movie. Not only that, but Siegel let it be known that, although there were 2 directors, Widmark was ultimately in charge of the production. In the end, Siegel, Townsend, and even Widmark refused to take directing credit for the film. A hearing with the DGA convinced the Guild that Death of a Gunfighter wasn't a single person's vision. But you know, it would look very peculiar if the latest Richard Widmark film didn't have a director, so they created a pseudonym that could be used in such circumstances. They needed a name that wasn't just any name. It had to be original, but sound real, and wouldn't draw attention to itself. And the name also had to be one that wouldn't be confused with any actual real person. At first they chose the name Al Smith, but that was just sort of blah, and as it turned out, was the name of an actual person involved in the film industry. So they added an E to the end of Smith, then another E, and changed the first name to Alan, and there you have it. The director of Death of a Gunfighter was Alan Smithee. And it worked. The New York Times wrote of the film, sharply directed by Alan Smithee. And Roger Ebert commented, Director Alan Smithee, a name I'm not familiar with, allows his story to unfold naturally. Don Siegel later said, as the picture was well received, I told my young friends who wanted to become directors to change their name to Smithee and take credit for the direction of the picture. I don't know if anyone did this. I still think under certain circumstances, they might have cracked the magic barrier and become a director. Here's the thing, the public wasn't supposed to know about this. It was a big secret. And it stayed that way, but not for long. Over the years, there's been directors, actors, writers, producers, composers, editors, cinematographers, and about every film credit that has used the now famous fictional name. All one has to do is go before those in charge and give them a good valid reason of why their name shouldn't be used. Though sometimes I've read that this request has been denied. But like I said, it was supposed to be a big secret. But it was only a matter of time before this got out, right? I mean, when Dennis Hopper is known to be directing a film and then the name Alan Smithee appears in the opening credits, people are going to wonder why. And some directors have made it very public that they wanted their name to be taken off and Alan Smithee to be put on. One of the best known cases is of the TV version of David Lynch's Dune. Now, Lynch wasn't too happy with the original cut to begin with and was even more so with the TV edits, so he had his name taken off and Alan Smithee put on. And as time went on, the name Alan Smithee became more of a joke. In the year 1997, a film came out called Burn Hollywood Burn about a director named Alan Smithee. He's played by Eric Idle, and in the film he wants his name to be taken off the credits of a film that he directed, but he's under the unfortunate circumstances of having the same name as the official pseudonym. Since the film was a mockumentary, it was officially credited to, you guessed it, Alan Smithee. Now, any hopes of a secret pseudonym were over. Now, I've never actually seen this movie. I heard it's not too good. In fact, it won 5 Golden Raspberry Awards. So, anyway, in the year 2000, the Directors Guild of America decided to retire the name. But in reality, no major studio would release a movie with the name Alan Smithee anymore because these days the name is associated with horrible projects. I mean, that's why a real person would want their name to be taken off, because they knew the film was going to be terrible. Even if one didn't know that Alan Smithee was a fake name, one look at his credits in IMDb would convince you that he's not a very good director. I mean, with films under his belt like Blood-Sucking Pharaohs in Pittsburgh, Ghost Fever, Birds 2, Land's End, Raging Angels, Shrimp on the Barbie, and Solar Crisis, who would want to see a film directed by Alan Smithee?
Not much happening in this old town. They roll up the streets when the sun goes down. Oh, but what we need, I'm telling you true, is a coffee house rendezvous.
So I wonder, does the Directors Guild of America have a new pseudonym that we're unaware of? Maybe in a few years we'll find out what they're using now. They must have something, you would think, right? Maybe they're trying a little harder to keep it a secret. Anyway, this is Old Man Kelly. I hope you enjoyed my little, history lesson. Like I said, these are just things that I wanted to know, so I thought I would make a video about it. I appreciate you watching. I'll be back sometime soon with something. I don't know. Take care. Bye.